Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. This is James, and in this video, let's talk about Fear the Walking Dead, the first 3 seasons. And I'll be emphasizing on the fall of society. Of course, Fear the Walking Dead is a companion series or spin-off to the highly successful The Walking Dead, where The Walking Dead main show begins, kind of with society already collapsed. Fear the Walking Dead provides a front row seat, if you could say that, to the initial breakdown of civilization. And we all say as fans sometimes, well, that's what it advertised, but it didn't show as much as we wanted of it. It skipped ahead pretty fast. And even though it did, and yes, that's true, it did show us more than the main show. It did depict the fall of society. It showed the initial outbreak. It showed societal denial. It showed the full-scale collapse. It showed the emergence of new social orders. So I can definitely say I'm one of the fans that had wished we'd got more of the beginning, and we didn't find out what caused it and all that, and I didn't expect to find out that. Just a little more time spent maybe during the early days. But season 1, episode 1, of course, we're introduced to a blended family in Los Angeles. It consists of high school guidance counselor Madison Clark, her fiance Travis Manawa, her children Nick and Alicia, and Travis has a son Chris that gets with him eventually. The first signs of societal breakdown were subtle, I think. It was marked by increasing reports of strange incidents, unexplained violence. We had some stuff on the news that the kids were watching. Nick's encounter with his girlfriend, zombified girlfriend in the abandoned church. Some people think that was the very first zombie. I don't think it is. I don't think that's ground zero, patient zero. And we kind of learned that it wasn't after learning some scientists in France were the cause. Episodes 2 and 3, we get more people are becoming aware of the outbreak. There's a passive sense of disbelief and confusion. The authorities are slow to respond. When they do, their actions are inadequate. The government's failure to contain the outbreak is evident in the increasing number of violent encounters and the spread of panic among the population. Episode 3 shows the grid collapsing with power outages and a breakdown in communication, signaling the early stages of societal disintegration. Episodes 4, 5, and 6, that showed the military's intervention. It's seen as a potential solution. Quarantines, designated safe zones, but it quickly becomes clear that the military is overwhelmed, unprepared for the scale of this crisis. The soldiers' ruthless measures, including forced separation of families and the indiscriminate killing of infected and uninfected alike, highlight the erosion of civil liberties and human rights. The family's escape from the military's clutches and the ensuing chaos mark the complete collapse of order as society devolves into survival of the fittest. Of course, there's a lot of, you could call them plot holes or things they just didn't tell us or doesn't make sense, because characters like Tobias told us we've seen signs of this for weeks. Dr. Jenner at the CDC in The Walking Dead main show said it had been around longer than that day zero, that pretty much everything seemed to collapse at one time. If you didn't know any better as far as listening to characters like Tobias and Dr. Jenner and stuff, you'd think this thing happened like one day and the next day society was gone. But it didn't seem to happen that way specifically. Of course, a character, Strand, is introduced. He has a boat and they escape by sea on the boat. So that's season 2, episodes 1 through 3. We see it pick up with the protagonist fleeing Los Angeles. It symbolizes the fragmentation of society. Their journey along the Pacific coast reveals a landscape ravaged by the apocalypse. There's some scattered survivors and isolated pockets of humanity. And episode 2 depicts a family living in isolation on an island, exemplifying the breakdown of social structures and the return to primitive survival tactics. Season 2, episodes 4 through 7. The group's encounters with other survivors underscore the collapse of societal norms and the rise of a new, often brutal social order. Pirates, religious zealots, other hostile groups. They demonstrate the varied and often violent ways in which people adapt to the new reality. The death of key characters and the group's fragmentation further illustrate the disintegration of traditional family and community bonds. Episodes 8 through 15 of season 2. These episodes tell us about the characters as they disperse and face their own challenges. The show delves into themes of isolation, individual survival, Nick's integration into a Mexican community that venerates the dead, highlights the emergence of new belief systems and coping mechanisms, and Madison and others struggle to protect their loved ones in an increasingly hostile environment. The season concludes with the destruction of the hotel, a temporary sanctuary signifying the relentless nature of societal collapse. With Season 3, we see the emergence of new orders, new world orders, new societal communities and factions. Episodes 1 and 2, it opens with the characters captured by a military faction led by Troy Otto, whose sadistic experiments on the living and the dead underscore the moral decay accompanying societal collapse. The protagonist's escape and subsequent alliance with the Otto family at Brokejaw Ranch introduce a microcosm of a new social order attempting to rise from the ashes of the old. With episodes 3 through 8 of Season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead, the tension, of course, between the ranch community and the Native American tribe led by Taka Walker, that reflects the broader societal conflicts that are here with or without the apocalypse, and the struggle for resources, which is also in some places a real thing. The collapse of the ranch, fueled by internal power struggles and external threats, that illustrates the fragility of the social structures, even the new ones. And that's always been a problem because why? Humans. The show's depiction of addiction, grief, personal vendettas, all of that adds depth to the narrative of social disintegration. And episodes 9 through 16 of Season 3. Those final episodes of Season 3, they depict the convergence of the main characters at a dam controlled by Lola Guerrero. The dam symbolizes the vital importance of resources in the New World Order and the lengths to which people will go to control them. The season culminates in a violent showdown that destroys the dam, scattering the characters once more and emphasizing the ongoing chaos and instability of the post-apocalyptic world. So I'm not one that usually trades and barters too much. I just go to the store and buy something if I need it, spend my hard-earned money. I'm not really good at trading like some people are. I have a buddy, that's all he does. He started with a dirt bike and ended up trading until he got a really nice truck. It's just, if you can do it, you can do it. And people like that in a post-apocalyptic type world, they may fare better than people like myself that are not good at it or just never done it much. If money isn't a thing anymore and you can't reach in your pocket and pull out $1, you went to work, you made that $1 so you could buy some food. Now you're going to have to maybe go work for someone that has food, so then they just give it to you. There's no money involved. They just give you some food for the work you've done. It almost turns into a kind of sort of like the Saviors, Negan and the Saviors. You work for points, you work for food, you work for pretty much everything. I mean, that's how society is today somewhat. Most people, they have to work to make a living, to eat. In a post-apocalyptic world, you're going to have to work even harder probably just to eat, just to survive. And I try not to think about it too much, but I look at the Walking Dead world, that universe, and say to myself, okay, how did those people react when the world just crumbled around them? And there's monsters there also you have to avoid. If that happened here, something like that, say it was aliens or say it was, something that wiped most of us out and society fell and collapsed and crumbled and we have to fend for ourselves and survive and, fight for what we can eat that day, maybe. I personally don't know if we would make it as good as the people in the TV show. Man, it is hard not to be gloomy when talking about the fall of society, right? I just want to conclude, the first 3 seasons were my favorite of Fear the Walking Dead. I wasn't a big fan after that. I do wish it had showed more of the fall of society, but it showed the bombings. The guy on the island told us about the rest of the country that pretty much had already fallen. There wasn't anything left. So we learned a lot, even if it was through other characters or something we heard. We got to see what it was like on the open sea, with the pirates and everything. We even got to hear from a cosmonaut up on the space station. So, Fear the Walking Dead 1 through 3, it did tell us a lot. It did show us a lot about the fall of society. Was it a comprehensive depiction? It's kind of, sort of, but some wanted more. Some of us wanted a little bit more. But, through the eyes of the Clark Manawa family and their allies, we get to witness the gradual erosion of societal norms, the emergence of new, often brutal social structures. The series portrays the collapse as a multifaceted process driven by fear, resource scarcity, and the struggle for power. And that's pretty much how a lot of it would be, right? Fear, resource scarcity, just trying to stay alive, just trying to survive, the struggle for power. Some of us don't care about power. We're not going to have that struggle, but we get caught up in it, the chaos that comes from that. But man, as traditional institutions fail, individuals and groups must navigate the world where survival often comes at the cost of humanity and morality. So you guys can definitely check out the channel. I've done several videos as of late about things like morality and surviving and the fall of society and stuff like that, including this one. So you guys let me know what you think about it all. Of course, the first 3 seasons of Fear, the fall of society, the different things that it showed us. Let me know what you think about all of that down in the comments below, and I'll join you there. This is James in Nashville. As always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more dead stuff.